parts of me that I didn't even know I had. And I came pretty much infatuated with this band. And I lived in Enid at the time, and I ended up convincing some friends of mine, some other people to kind of tour around with me for about a month. And in that month, I went to like Phoenix, Austin, Vegas, LA, Miami, and Dallas. And this all happened in the course of a month, driving from Enid to all these different places. Like driving from Enid to LA to Miami was insane in itself. So that's kind of like the epilogue of the story. Is my love for this band, U2. And then fast forward 5 years, I'm in the Air Force. I'm stationed in New Jersey, which is an amazing place to live. And I just got back from a 30-day deployment to Katrina, where we worked like 24 hours a day. It seemed like every day for a month straight. And I was only home for a day, and they called me up at like 2 o'clock in the morning. They said we had to go to Pakistan for earthquake relief. And I was like, what the fuck? And but luckily, I had leave that night. It started that night. So when they called me, I was like, no, I'm not going. I had leave. And they're like, oh, okay, that's cool. So the next day I woke up and I realized that U2 was playing in Philadelphia. And I was like, well, this must be my moment. I'm going to go see U2 again. So I went and asked my daughter if she wanted to go. And at this point, she's my stepdaughter. We didn't have like a really good relationship and stuff. And she was really enthused to go. So I drive to Philadelphia and I get to the venue and there was like a line of 200. The show was sold out, so there's no tickets. And there's a line, it's like 200 people in front of this box office. And it's freezing cold outside, and all I got is shorts and a shirt on. I look at this line, and my heart sinks. And I'm like, oh man, I'm not going to get tickets today. This ain't going to happen. And so I said, screw it. I went to the box office, and I just sat down, and I refused to get in line. And I was just going to try to cut off everyone else in line and see what happened. But that didn't happen because the manager came out, and she started like screaming at me, yelling at me, and telling me that I couldn't be in there, that everyone else is outside, I have to be in the line. So I told her my story, and I just got back from Katrina, so on and so forth. She said, and probably one of the bitterest voices I've ever heard in my life, she's like, well, I've heard it all now. And I was like, what the hell's wrong with this woman? So I just sat there, and she like walked off and did her thing. And then about 30 minutes later, a security guard came in. He took the other people who were trying to avoid the cold too out of the box. But I went to a corner inside this booth where they sold the tickets at, and I just kind of pushed every atom of my body against this wall and tried to be flat so the security guard couldn't see me. And he didn't see me, so he pulled everyone out, made them get in the back of the line, and I was like, I realized I couldn't do that because it was just too cold outside. It was Philadelphia, it was at the end of October. And but the ticket booth was made out of glass, so I know he was going to make a second sweep to see me eventually. And then, so I kind of panicked. I looked around the entire ticket booth, and I saw a fold-out table with a tablecloth that all went all the way down to the floor. So I just rolled, got underneath the tablecloth, and sat there for like 3 hours as waiting for tickets to go on sale. And then during that 3 hours, I had to like use the bathroom really bad, and I almost gave up for a second, but I promised my daughter I'd get these tickets. We'd go see me too. But I couldn't take it anymore, so I was like, I have to use the bathroom. Once I leave this table, I'm not getting these tickets. So before I leave and go find a bathroom somewhere, I look out and there's like a wastebasket this high right next to the table. So I just pulled it underneath the table. I kind of relieved myself in that wastebasket, and then I just pushed it back out there for the cleaning crew to deal with later. And about another hour goes by, and the security guard comes in and he says, well, I'm going to start bringing in, during the time I was underneath there, they moved the entire line across the street to like bitter cold. It was just disgusting. I felt so sorry for those people. He said he's going to start bringing people in across the street 2 at a time. So he goes over to get 2 people, and I rolled out from underneath the table. I run up to the ticket booth, and I said, okay, I need some U2 tickets. And they're like, and the guy's like, he's kind of stunned because he knows everyone's across the street. So he goes, how many do you need? And I said 3. And then, so I got my 3 tickets. The security guard walks in with this other dude who was like the first in line, who'd been there for like 6 hours or something. And that kid's jaw was dropped. He couldn't believe somebody was ahead of him. And the security guard, in like this really deep Jersey voice, was like, where the hell did you come from? And I was like, dude, I've been here the whole time. And we made eye contact for like 3 seconds, and it seemed like we were just like deep in each other's soul. He was trying to comprehend what was going on. And I was getting my tickets, and I was like, yes, it's going to happen, so screw him, I don't care. And I walked out, and I told the dude who was first in line to chill out. He was going to get his tickets. They had like 200 more, so just calm down. And then, so I went home. I told my wife the whole story. She wasn't like super amused or nothing, but my daughter was pretty happy about it. So later on that day, we're at the U2 show, and she's dancing and singing, and her ticket actually won like a lottery, so we got to be like within the first 3 rows anyway, so we were like super close. And during that show, she like grabbed me and told me she loved me, and she never said this before. We never had this connection at this moment. Up until that point, it had been really, really kind of like rocky between And so ever since then, we've been really cool, and we always had a deep connection. We always went to concerts together. We went and saw like No Doubt, The Killers, and a lot of U2 shows in cities like Boston, Philadelphia, New York City. And we kind of toured with a lot of bands for a while there when I was stationed up there. That was kind of our connection, and music kind of brought us together, and that's the story.
Okay. All right.